Hello. Oh dear, this lockdown's doing strange things to my hair. Don't know what it's doing. Anyway, hello. This is the Better Movement School with me, Sarah Stevens, and today we are looking at lengthening tight back muscles. Perfect if you have been gardening, though probably not today. Oh, they might have been. Some of you might have been out. Hi, Tina. I know you're wanting to do this because of all your dog walking, slipping about on those heels. Hello. So tight back muscles today. So green light reflex, tight back muscles. Those people that are always on the go, though this is probably not the right class because it just slows you down and you can't cope with that. But perfect to calm you down. Hi, Esther. If it's your first time, then maybe you could watch today, or you could try the 7-day challenge, which is in the somewhere in the pin to the top, where it breaks down a lot of the moves for you. Get one move a day. But join in if you want to. We're working on tight back muscles today, so in a minute I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, what the moves are. If it's a bit too dark in here for these moves, let me know, because I can put the main lights on. Yeah, because it's not very nice out, is it? So I kind of dark. Actually, I might lighten the room a little bit. Let's just see if it lightens it just by having the curtains open a little bit. I've got a light on. I didn't need my neighbours staring in. And there might be. Hi, Wendy. Kath. Which is all right. Doesn't matter. It's all a bit of fun. Anyway, so we're going to be doing the red light reflex. So what that involves today is some back work, lying on our backs, some back work lying on our fronts. I don't think we're doing any side work today. So if you can't lie on your fronts, then you might want to do some of these lying on your sides. So I'll see if I can show you how to do those. So let me just demonstrate what we're doing. So we're going to do arch and curls. Arch and curls, usual arch and curl, pelvis tilting. Feet hip width apart, arms by your side. And we'll be doing arch and curls, just general arch and curls. Then we're going to be doing one foot going forward because we want to get the lower back muscles on one side. So we arch and we send the knee forward on one side as we're arching, and then we come back to the centre. So we're going to be doing that before we go into any curls. Send the foot forward on one side as you arch, trying to keep the pelvis going forward. So I'm still tilting my pelvis forward on both sides, even though I've sent that knee forward and pushed into the right foot. So you're working against something. And then we come back to the centre. We're doing that on both sides, not many, just a few. Then we're going to do something similar up in the shoulders. So just look at my arm position. So my arm position is kind of angled out at 45 degrees from the shoulder to the elbow. And then I've bent the elbows back in and put my hands by my side, by my bottom, fingertips pointing to the hips. So we're going to do an arch and curl. And we're going to do an arch, but we're going to press the right shoulder back and lift the right hand up a little bit. So that's kind of doing what we were just doing down in the pelvis to the shoulder girdle. So I'm not doing it with the left side. So I'm arching, pressing my shoulder back, lifting the right hand up. And what that does is it makes the shoulder blade go in and down. So you're getting, like you did through the foot, you're getting a different angle, a little bit of squeezing into the upper back on the diagonal, and a bit more into the waist as well. So we're just arching the pelvis. We haven't done this before in class. We're just rotating that shoulder back so it goes downwards at the back, and then we switch that off again as we come up. Okay, so we're going to be doing that on both sides. So we're still arching the pelvis like we would normally do, but we're lifting the hand. So that's a new thing. And then we're going to do our hugs across the body, or our elbows opening and closing as we arch and curl. And then we are going to be doing some bottom squeezes. So we do those with our legs down, squeeze the bottom up, let go. You probably can't see this, but you might see if my hand moves. So we're squeezing, releasing the bottom, but I'll talk you through that. Then we're going to go on to leg, back of the leg lengthening, where we arch and curl. This is why we needed to get the shoulders involved at the start. So we're going to arch and push the leg away, bring it back without pulling, push against the hands. So I'm actually causing some tension in my shoulders here. So I want to just squeeze back against it a little bit, but I'm not taking my arms away with the leg. So my arms are kind of a brace for the leg going forward. And eventually we work into the leg going a bit higher as we do the movement. And some of you might end up, some of you bendy people, with your leg up here. Don't hyperextend, so don't push the kneecap back while you're doing it. So we're just sending the leg forward and back while we arch and curl. So we're still trying to send the pelvis forward at the same time. So I can really feel that in my hamstrings. I don't want to, so I wouldn't have my leg that high to start with. I'd work up to that. So I'm just arch and curling through my leg. Then we're going to go onto our fronts, and we are going to, I'm just going to take my glasses away. We're going to do some very gentle back lifts, squeezing into the shoulder blades. Some of you might lift up, might be a little bit too much. Then we're going to do it with our arms by our sides and lift up and down, rotating the arms. So we'll start with our, we'll rotate with our back of our hands down. Sorry, I'm talking to the carpet, aren't I? And then we rotate through the shoulder blades. That's very strong. You have to be really mindful of your bottom muscles and what's switching on and what's not. And then when we've done that, we're going to do something new again. Hi Fiona. Hi Charlotte. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something new. So if you're new to this, you might want to watch this or maybe not do it in the class today. It might just be a little bit too confusing. Other people, it'll be new to you, but you'll kind of get it because it's part of something else. So we're going to leave the upper body still. Your arms will be wherever they're comfortable. You might have them by your sides here, hands by your ears. You might have them under your forehead. Everything in the upper body is going to stay nice and soft in the upper body. And all we're going to do in this one is we squeeze the bottom, we lift the leg, we bring the leg in. So there's a lot of bracing going on the other side, pointing the toes. Then we go back the other way. Then we flex the toes with a long leg, and then we bring the leg down, rest everything down onto the toes, drop the back of the leg down, let go of the bottom muscles, and we do a big breath in. So we do a lovely big breath in. So it doesn't matter too much what the breathing is through the whole process, because there's a lot of bracing, so you'll just have to be breathing in and out gently. But when we get down, we take a nice breath in to lengthen all the muscles in the back. Okay, and then you relax the toes down. If you need to, you can relax the whole leg down, and then we wait to go again. So we're only going to be doing about 4 or 5 of those. So I'll just do it again. We squeeze the bottom muscles, we make sure they're switched on. Then we lift the leg. Then we bend the leg, pointing the toes, so the calves are squeezed as well, shortened. And then we lengthen the leg, flex the toes, bring the leg down, let go of everything through the back of the leg, leg done right down, my calf, my thighs lengthen down, bottoms let go, big breath in. Okay, so we're going to do that one. That's a new one to everybody. Hi Karen. And then we are going to come back over, and we're going to do one we haven't done for a while. So we're going to, hopefully we'll get all these done because they're one-sided things, so it takes a bit longer. So we're going to squeeze up, no arch and curl. We're going to have both knees up, and we're going to squeeze up into one side, send the knee forward, lift up, lift up, lift up, press the shoulder back if you want to. Up in the air, we're going to take the knee across. So we have to let go of the bottom muscles in the side that have been helping us squeeze up. So it's just the back muscles, the bottom muscles are lengthening, and then we come back. That's quite strong, and then we come down. Okay, so we're going to do that one. So all of this is one-sided stuff, so we may not get all of this in. We come up, we're only going to do one side at a time. Squeeze up, send the knee forward, so we're going up, so we are still tilting over though with this one. Take the knee across to the other knee, come back, come down. Okay, so that's our little thing today. It's all quite strong for the back muscles. So if this has been if this is your first class, you're watching this for the first time, I would just watch it today. Maybe try a few out as you go along, but maybe try not to just do it in time with the class. All right, any questions? Anybody's watching now, any questions? Okay, so make sure, you can ask me questions as I'm rambling away here in the comments. Make sure that you do this kindly and gently. If you can't lift your leg up, just squeeze the bottom muscles, leave the thigh on the floor, bend the leg up, bend it down. If you can't point and flex the toes at the same time, don't do it. Just modify these things to be a smaller movement, not so much movement. You know when your pain levels kick in, so don't go beyond them. Do it slowly. When you're lifting the leg up and everything against gravity, there's likely to be a bit more bouncing than if you were doing it with everything down on the floor. So have that awareness that the bouncing might not just be because your muscles aren't lengthening properly, it might just be because of the whole gravity thing. So it might be that for a little while you need to keep the leg down on the floor. I'm talking about when we're lying on our front. So that angled arm thing, where we are going to rotate the arm as we're arching, curling on one side, is kind of that movement. That's all that's happening. So realistically, your shoulder blade is sliding down your back. I don't know if you can see this in my white jumper. Your shoulder blade on that side is sliding down. So all of this area is squeezing and then letting go. Okay, so it's down there, squeezing and letting go. You might not be able to lift the arm very far. So that's another new one. So a couple of new things that people in my classes that are here tonight may not have done, or people watching this afterwards. I can't actually see what's going on now, so I'm going to put these glasses back on. There you are. Okay, what time are we on? Are we ready to start? Great, gone over a bit, so I'll stop rambling on. Off we go. Let's have a little lie down. Soften into the floor, take the glasses off. And let's just let go. So softening into the floor. Remember, we're doing the back muscles today. We're doing the green light reflex. Tight back muscles. Often shows up in the front of your hips, front of your chest, down your arms. So, starting at the feet, under the feet, because we're going to be using the ankles today quite a bit, so hopefully this will help your feet underneath the feet, plantar fasciitis, which I've got in one foot at the moment. Travelling up round the ankles, let's just focus on the back of the legs, calves. Feel how they feel on the floor, tender, tight, tingly, anything that's going on through the calves. When you get to the knee joint, look around the knee joint, but look how far the back of your knee is from the floor, or how close it is to the floor. Remember, you can do this with your knees up, so if this is too much to lie in this flattened position, or you could do this with pillows or light pillows that aren't going to impede your movement under your body. If you're at home, you can just grab a couple of pillows. Really have a good look at your bottom muscles, round the edges, round the sides, where they connect to the top of the pelvis, sitting bones, tailbone. Really have a good look at the whole of the lower back area that attaches to the bottom, round to the side into the hips. Look at your lower back, your spine, your waist. Up into the rib cage when you get there, feel how it moves, how it feels. The differences in pressure side to side, how the sides move. Real good look at your shoulder blades and in between your shoulders. Look, travel up the spine as well. Notice the attachments into the back of the arms. Have a look down the back of the arms, round the elbow joints, round the wrist joints, back of the hands. While you're in the arms, just travel up the front of the arms as well. Upper back, across the top of the shoulders, into the back of the neck, back of the head. When you get up into the head, then have a good scan around the head, jaw, chin, under the chin, into the chest muscles, and then just a little skim down. So just have a little look on the way down. And then we're going to gently bring the legs up, feet placed on the floor, flat feet. Adjust yourself in the body if you need to. Check your feet are lined up, bunion to bunion. And then hip width apart. So if they're too high, if they're too near your bottom, and your angle isn't kind of 45 degrees in the back of your knee, then take them a bit further down. Just going to check my feet again. And then we're going to breathe. So breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow it all down. Feel how your back feels when you breathe in. Feel if you can feel the rib cage moving. Maybe notice how it arches your back a little bit to breathe in and look at the back. What's the pressure like on your shoulders? Take some slightly deeper breaths into the upper chest. How does it affect the shoulder blades, the shoulder? Does it feel strange across the bra line? Does it cause pain? And then travel that breath down into the body. Let the belly expand. See what effect it has on the lower back. As soon as you can feel the breath getting down into the lower pelvis, belly expanding, you can notice the lower back and the pelvis. And maybe the pressure that it puts into the pelvis, then start thinking about gently arching. So all that you're doing is tilting the pelvis forward in a small way, lower back's engaging, letting go. And that becomes more active as you go along. Actively involving the back muscles, switching them on, shortening them, the lower back. Tilting the pelvis forward, feeling more of your bottom on the floor. Lengthening through the belly, coming back. So I don't mind however small that is when you want to involve the shoulders. So the shoulders just press back at the same time. We haven't got that angled arm movement yet. We're going to bring that in later. All we're looking at is how much the pelvis tilts. If you're new to this, you might want to go back and do the 7-day challenge and watch the arch and curl. Do it a few days before you do anything else. So we always start with this arch and curl to get the spine and the whole body moving, lengthening, before we bring the other muscles in. So I'm already involving the shoulder blades, the shoulders, just tilting the shoulders back at the same time. So everything's done in a small way or to the length that your body's happy to do. So I'm having some awareness of my neck. There's something going on in my neck, so I'll make the shoulders a bit smaller. So I'm just feeling a whole back arch in whatever small way you want to do it. We're not curling, we're not going to get into any curling yet. And if we do it, it'll be in a very small way to start with. So all I want you to do is to focus on your right side. As you arch, send the knee forward slightly, keep arching, push into the foot. So you're still arching against that shift. So I'll be trying to tilt you over to the left, but you're still going to go against that force of pushing into the foot and then come back to neutral. Your shoulders might be moving, they might have stopped, they might still be joining in. The right side might be pushing a bit more to stabilise you, that's fine. You just want to feel that there's a little bit more happening in the back. You might feel it in the upper back, you might feel it just in the lower back. You might just feel the pelvis, around the pelvis, pushing into the floor a little bit more as you tilt. We're just getting a bit more engagement on the right side. Push the knee forward gently, push into the right foot, arch forward still, not tilting over to the left. It's going to want to try to. This is small enough that you can keep pushing back again. So it's quite good to do it when you first start because it's all very small. And that way it really does tighten into the lower back. If it causes you any pain, make it much smaller. It could be tiny, it could be a centimetre movement. That knee forward and a tiny little push into the foot. If you can involve the shoulders as well, great. Might just get more sensitivity in the back. This is all very small, very controlled, and if it's your first time it might just be a little bit too much. So go and look at some of the other videos or just watch for a while, just listen. So I'm going to swap to the opposite side. So I'm going to go back to the centre. Already I can feel a difference in that lower back. So then I'm going to swap to the other side. So left foot knee going forward, pushing into the foot. Push into my left shoulder is a bit more reactive, so I'm a bit more aware of it, so it wants to join in straight away. The right's still going back as well, but the main activity is in the sending that knee forward, tilting the pelvis, pushing into the foot. You might want to play around with the order of that. It's all very small, very subtle. You probably can't even see me moving if you were watching this. Use your breath. Breathe down into the abdomen. I'm going to do it twice more on the left. So really getting your brain engaged with this area. It's really having to work hard to get all these little muscle actions. It's very subtle, probably a lot of concentration going on to do it. And then come back to the centre. So we're just going to arch through the centre. A couple of arches through the centre. Feeling how the lower back feels. Mine's much looser now, much softer, lengthening quite happily. And then we're going to start curling in the opposite direction. So chest muscles might get involved. Pelvis is going to start tilting back. So if you had the bowl of water, it will be tilting towards your spilling water towards your face as the pelvis tilts up. Try not to push into the feet. They might want to get involved because you've just been using them in that last bit. Shoulders round forward gently. The upper arms might lift off the floor a little bit. Forearms stay on the floor. So this might get quite big quite quickly because the back muscles have softened so much. So we're just arch and curling, that's all we're doing. Building into it gently, slowly. Getting a measure of how our back legs go at the top. If we squeeze into the shoulders, mine are a bit bouncy in the chest muscles near the armpit. So I'm having to be a bit wary of that to start with. Watch what's going on. The typing I've been doing today. So we're going to do a couple more rounds of that. Arch and curl, it doesn't matter how big it is. You're just getting to know what your body wants to do because we're going to involve something else in a minute. And then we're going to lengthen our legs down. So taking your time, finish the last couple and then bring your legs down gently. And then let go. Just feel how your body feels. Couple of breaths doing absolutely nothing. Forget about what's just happened. Let go. Just checking I'm still alive. Not alive, live on the screen. So what we're going to do is going to bring the knees up again, get back to that original crooked position, check your feet position, your hips, the width of your hips, it's not as wide as you think. And then we're going to bend the elbows, slide the elbows out to the side, and then point the fingers towards the pelvis. So our arms are still flat on the floor. Just adjust so you're comfortable, so you've got some awareness of your shoulder blades. And then we're going to go back to our arch and curl. Still pressing, you'll probably notice that your wrists lift up a bit. Arch and curling gently, breathing, soft jaw. Doesn't matter if this is a small movement. And then eventually we're going to focus on the right arm. And all we're going to do as we arch is we're going to lift the lower arm off the floor, and you're going to feel how that engages the shoulder blade on the right side to go down your back a little bit more. And then we just go back to a normal arch and curl. A curl. Breathe in, you're arching gently, you lift the right hand up, feel how it rotates the arm back and the shoulder blade engages in the lower back. Come back to a normal curl. Do it again, so adjust the right side. You still press the left side down, but you're going to notice how much more the right rotates back as you lift the arm up. So the elbow's staying on the floor, it's just the right forearm lifting up. So you've got your elbows away from the body, but the fingertips pointing back. So you've got like almost a 90-degree bend through the elbow. You have some awareness of your chest muscles. They might not like how far you take the arm back, so have that awareness, but you're thinking about that engagement of the shoulder blade and the rotation in the back. So you should feel that opening through the chest, in the rib cage. So I want you to see if you can press the hand down into the floor a little bit as you curl and lift that shoulder into the chest a bit more, so that we lengthen in the back. Back's our focus today. We're still involving the chest muscles. It's all oppositional, so things are going to happen. Things are going to lengthen at the front of the body as well. I'm going to do two more on that right side. Hopefully most of you have got the idea about that now. So your arm will only come up as high as your chest muscles will let you, or your back muscles tighten down the back. So I'm going to go back to the centre, just arch and curling. Your hands might lift off the floor a little bit if your shoulders are going back. That's all right. And then we'll focus on the left side. So we're lifting the left hand. Try not to go straight into as big as the movement was on the other side. You might get a bit of a shock. Might be ready on that side. We're just arch and curling, normal arch and curl, controlling it. We're just lifting that forearm on the left, the elbows out to the side, a bit away from the body, 45 degrees about. And we're taking the hand up into the air, keeping the elbow and the upper arm on the floor, feeling that shoulder blade push into the floor and go down the back a little bit. Might not fully go down with some people. Some people with frozen shoulders, this might just be a bit too far. You might need to change the angle completely and just press back a little bit. Any rotator cuff issues, tight muscles in the back of the shoulder blade, this might just be a little bit too much for you as well, too painful. So you're doing a tiny way. Still want to get a little bit of engagement into those muscles because they need to be reminded that they're there. They're so tight when you've got rotator issues, then they're not getting the right signals. They're too painful to lengthen. They don't remember how to lengthen, so that causes all the problems. So we're just giving them little signals in a very small way. So we're going to finish off with this one more on that left side. Go back to the centre. Do a couple of arch and curls through the centre. You might want to bring your arms back by the sides. Feel how much difference there is to when you started, how much control you've got, how much things have softened, and then we're going to lengthen down. So letting go, bringing the legs down, and let go. So I think, well, because we've just done quite a bit in the shoulders, and the brain has had to concentrate on the shoulders too for a long time, we're going to go to the bottom. So I showed you that we lengthened our legs down, we stayed in that position and we did some bottom squeezing. So all that involves is you investigating how much your bottom will squeeze tightly, lifting the pelvis, and then how much you can let those muscles go back to their neutral position, their softened position, lengthened position, without bouncing, dropping, causing pain. So we just squeeze into the bottom muscles. It feels like you're drawing them into the sacrum in the lower back, and that's lifting up through the pelvis. And then we let go gently. See how much vibrating, dropping pain there is. Hopefully there's no pain because you won't have squeezed that tightly. And then we just do it a couple of times so our mind's eye can see which of the areas that are not working so well. It might be both sides, it might just be one side. If you've got a trauma reflex, it might be that side. If it's sciatica that you suffer from, it might be that side. So if you've got sciatica, you'll be hardly squeezing at all. And then you focus on the side that's the weakest, so mine's the right side. So I'm just going to squeeze into that. See if I can just do it in a very small way without there being any dropping. And I can do it on quite a small squeeze, like just a couple of centimetres or an inch off the floor. Still getting a bit of bouncing down. I've got very weak outer, they're called glute medium. I've got quite glute medius muscle. It's very weak, so that's why it bounces. It's not getting the right signal. So if I strengthen that by doing some side leg lifts, then I wouldn't have that problem. So that's something you could think about. Glute muscles are very important. So if you can strengthen them, then that would get rid of this. But in the meantime, we want to lengthen them, give them some signals, tell them it's okay to lengthen. So that they don't press on the sciatic nerve, they can react quicker when you stand up, sit down. If you're struggling, put your hand on the bottom, underneath, just give the brain some signals that you're trying to work on this area. You could squeeze right up into the bottom and just work up in that higher area, up and down from the release above. You could go into the middle if you've got some good contraction going on and just work up and down in the middle. You could find the area that bounces, locate it and just go up and down. Squeezing, tightening and lengthening. You might have to do it a centimetre, a millimetre of movement before your brain gets the message. You think about how many little muscle, tiny weeny, microscopic muscle fibres are having to try and let go at the same time. If it gets too intense, the concentration's too much, swap to the other side, have a little go on the other side. We just want to get some signals to this area because we're going to be doing some lengthening and shortening in the bottom when we lift our leg up. So we want to make sure that these muscles are really getting some signals today. Be aware of your groin at the front, hip flexors, the lower abdomen. If there's any problems there, you don't want to push into any pain by squeezing so high and the front has to let go quickly and it doesn't want to, that causes you pain. Inner thighs, undercarriage, all those areas that respond to this movement. Yeah, mine aren't very happy at all today. I have been sitting a lot today. So let's just do it a couple more seconds, a couple more rounds, and then let go gently. Do nothing, couple of breaths, and then we're going to come to the shoulders. So like we've been practicing in some of the recent videos, we're going to either hug the arms across as we arch and curl, or we're going to have our fingertips by our ears and open and close, depending on how your shoulders feel, your chest muscles feel. So I'm going to, if people are watching and they're new, you might want to, and people with shoulder issues and want to keep the angle down, you're just reaching across the body as you arch and curl. So your pelvis is arching and your arms are opening. As your pelvis is curling up, then your arms are closing, squeezing into the chest. Now you might do that in a very small way. You might hardly reach across at all. You might do it higher up, you might do it across the chest and have the elbows off the floor, it's up to you. Or you might go fingertips, elbows opening, elbows squeezing across the body. Be mindful of your chest and your neck. Keep your jaw soft. Any bouncing, just have an awareness there's gravity involved, but if you can feel that your chest muscles don't like it, then you're going to do it in a much smaller way. You might bring your arms back down and just hug across the body. Now I want you to have some awareness of your shoulder blade movement, the upper back, how it's lengthening when you reach the arms across or the elbows meet or come towards each other. So make that your focus rather than what's happening in the chest. So make sure your upper back's okay, that you have some awareness of the upper arms, how your shoulders feel, how your back feels into the neck. Breathe in as the arms open, breathe out as they come across. I'm not going to do too many of these. Have some awareness again, if you've got your elbows up and you're angled out, have some awareness of the muscles around the upper rib cage that go into the back, go into your shoulder blade, connect to your ribs. I'm going to do 3 or 4 more of these. Slow it down if you need to, make it smaller. Shouldn't be any pain. I'm just doing my last round and then I'm going to let go. Bring your legs down, lengthen your arms down, let go. So we're going to come back to our arch and curl. Bring your feet up, flatten them onto the floor. And then we're going to gently bring the right knee up, put the hands behind the thigh. If you can't do this, you might need a tea towel, which you would put behind and then hold with your arms down if it's too much for your shoulders. So people with shoulder problems might need to do that. If your bottom muscles don't let go, your back muscles are sore. Otherwise, hands on the back of the thigh, up near the knee if you can. And then we're just going to arch and curl. Our hands are going to brace against the knee going forward. And then we're going to bring them back on the curl. So we're arch and curling, pressing the knee against the hands, so your shoulders have to brace a little bit, not too much. Let the shoulder blades go with the movement, but not too far. You still want to have be able to push against the hands. So you're still arching against that pressure. So it's a little bit like what we were doing with the foot on the floor. You should feel it more in the right side. And then slowly you could bring the calf up. So it's up to you when you start doing that. So I'm going to do that now, because I want to start lengthening my leg as well in the back, not just the bottom muscles on the back. So make sure you take it to an angle that's not going to bounce. So if I lengthen my leg fully now and move it away from me, I'm just going to have a bouncing leg. I'm going to get all nerve things shooting up the back of my leg, tightness. So my angle is about 60 degrees probably, bend in the back of the leg. Sorry, not 60. Yes, about 60. So I'm not pulling the knee towards me, I'm not stretching. I'm letting it go slack in the hands at the back, then they don't need to touch the back of the leg. I'm just letting my hip flexors, my abdominal muscles bring the leg forward. Keeping everything soft through the shoulders, letting them come back to the floor. So the chest muscles soften. Give them a chance. And then I might investigate taking my calf a bit higher. It might be that you need to not flex the toes for a little while. Feel how your inner thigh feels. His leg stays up in the air, doesn't keep coming back up and down, the calf muscle, the calf. You're not lengthening and shortening at the back of the knee. Wherever you've taken it up to, unless you need to make it a little bit smaller of an angle, is where you keep it. So we're going to do a couple more of these. Use your breath. Help the belly. My belly's big enough to push my leg away when I breathe in. So I'm making this the last one and then bringing my leg down. I'm going to lengthen that leg down and lengthen the other side down. A couple of breaths doing nothing. So that leg feels longer now. So we bring the legs back up. Bring the left thigh towards you. Hands behind the thigh, wherever you can have them comfortably. Soften the shoulders and neck. Soften the jaw. And then starting that process again on this side. So you're pressing against the hands or the towel. Arching. Watch what the other knee's doing. Mine just decided it wanted to drop out. So I'm not pulling back with the hands. I'm just letting the thigh bring the hands towards the body almost. So just rest it on the back. I soften the chest muscles every time. Give a bit of anchoring through the shoulder blades when your leg pushes forward, but not too much. But still a little bit of resistance in the hands. Take the leg up whenever you feel like you want to change the angle and start working into the back of the legs. Close your eyes, make sure that you're staying in your body. Slow it down. Use the breath to guide you. The breath breathing right down into the abdomen. Well, I'm going to do 2 more on this leg. And then we'll bring that leg down, bend it down gently, let go in the shoulders, lengthen that leg down, lengthen the other side, let go. So bringing the knees up, turning onto your side, keep the head low, as low as you can. Maybe rest it on your hands. Keep the neck long. Soften down onto your front. Forehead on the floor, arms by your side. Rest your shoulders down. Make sure you've softened down as much as you can, because that's the position you want to be in with your chest muscles soft. And then we're going to lift the upper body up. Leave the hands on the floor. Just get a measure of your upper body. You can involve the neck muscles if you want to. Bring the chest down to the floor. Rest the forehead down. Make sure everything's soft. You might want a little micro bend in the elbow. Lift up. Back of the hands are on the floor. Come down gently. So I'm doing it in a very small way to start with. Try not to engage my bottom muscles, though they want to join in. So it's just my upper body lifting. Not even really into my lower back. I'm going to do one more in a small way. And then we're going to involve the shoulder blades. So you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together so the arms lift up, lift the chest up, rotate the arms so your palms are facing down. So the whole of your back's engaged, probably your bottom muscles are switched on, so have some awareness of that. Make it soft in the lower half as much as you can, and then lower everything down gently. Make sure your chest muscles have let go and your shoulders at the front are down into the floor. Front of the arms, upper arms, front of the chest. Forehead resting in the floor. Breathe in as you go up. Engage the shoulder blades, squeeze them down the back. Rotate the arms, lift up. Come down gently, gently, slowly, slowly, slowly. Slow it right down, right down. Breathe in as you come up. Squeeze the shoulder blades down your back. That might be as far as you go. Otherwise, rotate the arms over so the palms are down. You can lift the arms up or leave the hands on the floor. Engage the neck muscles if you want to. Come down slowly, 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 like you're following that chain that went up and doing it in the opposite way. So the last things to release will be the shoulders, back of the neck. I'm going to do 2 more. Fully let go of the lower back. Really make sure you've let go completely. Couple of breaths in the middle. Check that you've let go of the tight shoulder muscles, shoulder blades, anything in the upper arms. In fact, I'm going to make this my last one. Your bottom muscles engage, make sure they let go as well. Let the feet rotate out. So just rest in a comfortable position. You might need to turn your head to the side. You might want to bring your arms up by your sides. So with your hands by your ears, forehead on the floor, or with your hands under your forehead, chest muscles softened, we're going to lift our right leg by squeezing the bottom, lifting the leg, bending at the knee, slowly, 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 pointing the toes if you can. If you can't, just keep them soft at the ankle. And then we're going to undo the leg, flex the toes, bring the toes down to the floor, let them soften in the toes, let the back of the leg soften down into the floor, let go of the bottom muscles. If you can't do the toes in this bent flex foot position, then you could just let the foot come back down and let the leg roll out. And we're going to go again. So we're going to breathe in. Squeeze the bottom muscles. Then you can just focus on your breath in any way you want to, because it's a lot of concentrating to focus on the breath as well. Bend the legs in, point the toes. Squeeze the toes back as much as you want to. So you've got a nice squashed foot. Nice shortened muscles in the plantar fascia, which is the sole of the foot. And then let go gently, 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 undo the knee, toes are still pointed, then flex the foot, so you've got a 90-degree angle in the front of the foot. Bring the toes down to the floor, soften onto the toes as much as you can so they flex. And then let go of the back of the leg, back of the knee, thigh, bottom muscles, soften back down everything. Breathe in, into the lower back, and then let go. Start that process again. Squeeze the bottom muscles, point the toes and bend the knee. Take the heel back to the bottom as much as you can. Lengthen it away gently. Flex the toes gently, the foot gently. Bring the leg down, let your foot and weight of the leg soften onto the toes so they flex. Lengthen the leg down gently at the front, soften the thigh muscles, soften the bottom muscles, let go of everything else, breathe in to the lower back. So we're going to do one more. If you can't do it lifting up, just squeeze the bottom muscles, bring the heel to the bottom in that position, lengthen the leg back, flex the foot, put the foot down, let go. So just in your own time, whichever way you're doing it. I'm doing it one more time, it's my last time up in the air. Hold the bottom muscles while you lengthen the leg, flex the foot, rest down onto the toes, so they lengthen the foot gently, bring everything down, breathe into the lower back. Then I'm just going to let go of everything, lengthen my foot, let the bottom muscles go. We're going to do the other side when you've had a couple of breaths. We're just going to do 4 on the other side. So whichever way you want to do it, just make sure you engage the bottom muscles. Even if you just bend with the leg down. So in your own time. Don't forget that nice breath into your lower back. Keep checking that your chest and your upper back soft after each go. I've got 2 left. So I'm just starting my last one. Some of you might be finished, some of you might be doing a couple of extra ones. But make sure if you are that you've done it slowly. When you've done your last one, let go, soften into the floor, don't do anything. So when you're done, we're going to come over onto the other side. So again, trying to keep your head down, keep your nervous system nice and soft. Rolling over gently. When you get there, bring your knees up, feet flat on the floor, feet hip width apart. Take your feet a bit further away than you would normally have them, and then a little bit wider actually. Let's have them a bit wider than the hips. Not as wide as the mat, but wider than the hips. Just a bit, gives us a bit more room to manoeuvre. So our last thing that we're going to do is we're going to push down into the foot on the right side. We're not doing arch and curls. Push into the foot. Send the knee forward, lift the bottom up, keep the other knee where it is, so you've got a strange kind of angle. Don't have to come up very high. Then take the right knee across towards the left knee. Have some awareness of your bottom muscles, your back. Come back again. Come down gently. We want to lengthen all the back of the leg, the bottom, the lower back. Very gently, all the way down. Breathe in and out. This time we're going to breathe in as we go up. You can angle the shoulder back if you want to, if you're going very high. Keep the left knee where it is. Keep the bottom down on the left side. Even if you tilt onto it, take that knee across to the other knee. Doesn't have to go all the way. Come back again. Lower down gently. As you breathe out, if you can try and do it with the breath. I'm going to do 2 more. Excuse me. So we're going to push into the foot, send the knee forward, lift and squeeze the bottom. You might feel that, you might not. You might just feel it all in the back of the leg. Take the knee across. Come back, lower down. Make sure your pelvis is settled back, your knees come back, everything's soft again, your lower back. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in as you go up. Check everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing, knee going forward, bottom squeezing up. Sometimes you won't be able to feel your bottom muscles if your brain has got that detached from that area, then it won't happen. So feel the back of the leg releasing gently, gently, gently. Breathe in and out when you're back, so you know everything's kind of back to where it started. I'm going to do 1 more. Try not to lift the left side off the floor. It's going to want to try. I forgot to take my knee across that time. Doesn't matter, you can just do it with just a lift. But we just want to add that sort of extra differentiation by sending the knee across. So have a rest, maybe just drop the knees together. Not going to be wide enough to drop them together. Maybe widen your feet a little bit. Couple of breaths doing nothing, and then other side. So breathe in as you lift up. Send the knee across. Come back. Lengthen down. So do it in your own time. Keep the jaw soft. Breathe in and breathe out when you rest in the middle. Knees going forward, other knee stays where it is, doesn't run away or try and drop out. Squeeze the inner thigh so the outer bottom side of the leg lengthens. You don't have to be very high off the floor at all. Got 2 left. I'm just doing my last one. So remember, any bouncing is telling you that your body's not ready to do it to that level yet. You need to make it smaller, more controlled. So I've done 4 rounds on both sides. I'm going to lengthen my legs down, soften into the floor, let go. So letting go, softening. We're just going to do our body scan, see what's changed, what hasn't. what we might need to work on still. Start at your feet, look at your feet underneath, come around your ankles, and then just following up through your body like you did at the start. Noticing depth, noticing tightness, noticing changes. When you've scanned the back, scan the front. Arms, don't forget your arms. So if you want to stay here, stay here. If you don't want to stay here, you want to say bye, or you've got to get on with things, then start wiggling your fingers and your toes, reminding your body that it's here. Feel the air, a bit of movement back. Come over onto your side when you feel ready. I always bring my knees up first and turn from there so I can keep my head down. Rest a little bit on your side. When you feel like coming up, push up with your hands, your shoulders, your upper body, work your way up. Have a little sit. Have a little chat with me if you want to before you go. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You could just carry on lying there all evening. I would have liked to have carried on lying there, listening to the birds and the rain in my little hut down the bottom of the garden. So I hope some of you stayed and who came on earlier. Tina, you're watching. Hello. I hope that was okay and that helped you with your back from your dog walking. Backs of your legs, bottom. It's important, isn't it? So hopefully I'll be here tomorrow. It hasn't worked out for the last 2 weeks. I did a little trial on Zoom yesterday and it went quite well, so we might be looking at that soon. But definitely for this next week we'll still be carrying on here. I am Fiona, thank you. Yeah, I think my sofa is the problem. I've got a new sofa and I think it's giving off a lot of gases and I'm very sensitive, so of course, what a poor sensitive soul. I think it's poisoning me. So I'm trying out all methods at the moment. I've had a really good method offered by Serena, who said that I should use washing powder and sprinkle it all over because it absorbs the gases. So I'm going to try that one next. I have tried bicarbonate of soda, but I think it's just making me feel sick. And I sit on it writing all day on Wednesdays, and then I pay for it later. So that's what's going on. That's all it is. Very exciting. Yes, Esther, brilliant. Thank you. Yes, have a look at the 7-day one. You just click on a link. It's free. It delivers you a little video daily of each of those moves, or not necessarily them, but some basic ones. And then there's a 50-minute just me talking, so you don't see me. You just talk through all those moves, and I put them all together. So yeah, you'd really benefit from it. So let me just see what else you said. Brilliant. Yeah, it will. Good. Okay, cool, Esther. Lovely. Well done. So I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully, or Thursday, or Friday lunchtime, or on YouTube. I'll put them on YouTube, or you just come back and watch them in here and share them with people. You know, it might be just what some people need at this time. And I hope you all stay safe and, yeah, lots of love. Mwah!